right, let's talk about our guy, Brock Purdy. I want you to grade Brock Purdy's first playoff game, which may even just be a tale of two halves here.
Yeah, it has to be, because to be honest, I would give him grading on a curve C minus in the first half, and then definitely a B plus in the second half. So like you say, it was definitely a tale of two halves. It's just it's in the development of a young quarterback. It's good to see. You want to see him. I mean, you don't want to see him struggle. I don't mean it like that, but you understand that they're going to struggle. But then the question becomes, what happens next? Okay, you're struggling. Do you just go into a shell? He doesn't seem to have that in him. He just keeps shooting,
Yeah.
and that resilience is a I don't think you can teach that. I think that is something that's born out of experience, and it's something that you just have, and he seems to have it, which is a great thing to see. And again, he's so aggressive. um I The whole rollout thing is kind of problematic, and then he's also kind of loose with the ball when he's
When
doing
he's
all
running
that.
around, yeah, that's what scares me the most.
So that just because, as we see, playoff teams are a different thing. Even a team like Seattle,
Mhm.
who just barely made the playoffs, but you're all of these teams that we're going to play from here on out are just the best of the best in the league. And the margins are going to be so much slimmer that penalties, turnovers,
Yeah.
and that's the big thing, that since he's taken it over, he's been played relatively clean games. And if we're going to make a run, that needs to continue. We're not going to be able to turn the ball over a bunch, because it takes opportunities away from the offense and just gives other teams more chances. And then, as we saw last year with the Rams, which is kind of different, because the big difference to me between this year and last year is by the time we got to the end. Now, granted, I know still we're healthier than we've been all year, but let's
Yeah.
be real, nobody's healthy
No.
at this time of year. But we're not, sending guys out there with bubble gum and baling wire,
Yeah.
holding them together,
Yeah,
trying to make it through.
Trent was, like, barely able to walk, and he was playing
Had no
football.
business out there playing.
Yeah.
But who's going to tell him that if he says he can go? Who's going to tell him no, no, big fella? We'd rather have Colton McKivitz out there. I mean, it's just not. So it's great. And when we're able to have a game script where we're able to get those guys moving forward and running the ball and having that be the basis of what we're doing, it's just a different thing. We're a different team if we're dropping back 40 times and
Yeah.
having Mac pass setting 40 times in a game. That's not that's not good for anybody. So it's great that we're healthier than we've been in the playoffs in the past few years, and our offensive line is playing better, and just hopefully we can try to get our defensive line going sooner in games, because it creates problems. People shit on poop on the secondary, but our scheme is front seven back, and if we're not getting pressure, it puts our secondary in a bind.
Yeah.
It's just simply not set up for them to be carrying guys 3 and 4 seconds. The coverage schemes are set up for the pressure to be quick, and so they need to be in phase for 2.5 seconds, and by then the quarterback should be heated up and have to get the ball out of his hands. And if that's not the case, they're going to be soft spots in the secondary where those guys are going to be able to sit down and get picked apart. So, yeah, this was, Kyle is going to have, like last week, it was, a good win, but there's plenty of coaching points coming out of this game. So I know that's what coaches like. They like to be able to beat them up, even in a win.
So I think Brock had his opportunities in the first half. Some of it was him missing him, like he missed Debo on that crossing route, and he tried to go deep to Ayuk, and Ayuk kind of gave up on the route at the end there. That was an easy 40-yard play to Debo, and Debo could possibly turn the Jets on to get in the end zone. But there were other opportunities there for him. Obviously, if this is the time where I kind of wish I was there so I could see, you go to a game and you can kind of see things develop, whereas you can't really see it on TV. But I believe that Shanahan had things open for Brock, and he just wasn't hitting. We saw him go there. There was a couple opportunities where it reminded me a little bit of the Raider game, where we talked about the Raider game, where the linebackers were kind of forcing or tricking Brock into throwing into tight windows. And there was a moment in this game where the linebacker gets a piece of the ball, and if he doesn't, Brock had thrown it behind, I think it was Jennings, and the receiver, I mean, the DB would have picked that off if it didn't get deflected. There were other moments like, where's that one quick read, the Jimmy plays, the plays that Garoppolo is so great on, is with that one read, boom, you hit him. Brock was not on those throws today. And so I think there were opportunities that Kyle had sort of developed for him that he just missed. And I think if we play this first half again, and Brock kind of, he had to go through the jitters, he had to go through the excitement, he had to calm his nerves. The 49ers probably score, at least another touchdown. But, they were turning, sevens into threes. But in the second half, he felt like he was more comfortable and letting things develop. And also in the second half, I think that Seattle defense was pretty tired by that because, he had so much time. He was running around in the back, kind of like a college quarterback in a sense. We're just trying to create time to keep plays going. And he even had that one where he had Ayuk in the corner, and Ayuk catches it, but he looks at his feet and takes his eye off the ball and he drops it. But
and he gets blasted.
I was like, what are you doing? What, you want Josh running out there as QB1 next week? You want to make this even harder on Shanahan? So I think he settled down his nerves. Shanahan was still confident in him, and he kept calling those pass plays because, it would have been very easy. And we saw this with Jimmy last year, where Jimmy only that Green Bay game, how many times did Jimmy throw in the snow? Like barely any, right? Yeah. And it's because they were like, okay, we're just going to run the ball. It's the bad weather. But I think he treats Brock a little bit more like the gunslinger who he is, and he sort of respects that like you do. And you can't keep that guy bottled up, because if you ask him to play the Jimmy game, he's probably a little bit more predictable, and he's not able to create and go off like he did.
And that's the thing. That was the thing early, was that Kyle, I thought, did a great job of giving him a bunch of layups. And that was the thing, is early on, he was missing layups. His first 4 throws, literally, all of them were off target. And again, he's a rookie. This is his first playoff game. So it stands to reason that he might be a little juiced up.
His first pass was like an Ephus pitch.
Yeah,
I mean, went right up and came right back down.
Yeah, so and I mean, that is understandable. I can't imagine. I mean, again, that's one of the things that has held him in good stead, is that he played a bunch of college football. But I imagine this was the biggest football game of his career, of his life.
Next week will be the biggest one as well.
Yeah. So this is, and he's learning how to. I mean, because that's obviously I've never played any sport at this level, but at whatever level I've played at, tournament type situations in golf or boxing, learning how to deal with those emotions it's a real thing. You have to learn how to either you're super nervous or you're super just jacked up, and either way, either one of them can lead to bad things if you can't calm yourself and get just level out. And so again, he's learning on the fly, and he did a great job once he settled down. I mean, so yeah, that, and I'm sure he'll have to go through that same procedure next week, and hopefully the week after that, and the week after that. But yeah, I still, I do I know how he's gonna play every game moving forward? No, I don't. But I have confidence in him. Because anybody can have a bad game, in regular games and in big spots. So if he were to have a poor game, it's not. That's what's so frustrating me about this social media era is every game is like a referendum on player X.
That was Steve Young's career until he won the Super Bowl.
Exactly. Every single game, either, if he played well, yeah, but if he didn't play well, he's
if he played well, it was, of course he's got Rice, he's got Taylor.
Exactly.
And then if he didn't, then he's like, see, he's not Montana.
He's not
that was
Joe.
his entire career.
Exactly. So, but again, it's so amplified because there wasn't a Twitter for Steve Young.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're 100% correct. So this is like you said, there's nothing new under the sun. But yeah, it's gonna be this is a wild ride. We're at 11 straight. Come on, man, this is crazy.
All right, so ultimately, he goes 18 of 30 for 332 yards, 3 touchdowns. My favorite play was him coming back to Mitchell on the touchdown.
Great play.
And we're grading him a little tougher. I think probably more of the national media would go, what? They put up 41 and beat him by almost 20 points. It's an automatic A+. But yeah, we're a little tough because we're watching every single snap of every single game.